story broke this week by way of Bloomberg and Axios. Basically, Netflix want to push into video games somehow. This is a story we've sort of heard for a long time, rumors-wise. Netflix want to break into gaming somehow. It got picked up this week because they just hired a new vice president of game development, Mike Verdu, who was previously employed with Facebook and Oculus for vice president of AR and VR content. So his role there would have been largely to try and attract people to the Oculus platform, as many games as possible, as many interesting franchises as possible. Before that, he worked at EA Mobile, doing a lot of work there. And everyone's sort of in shock, or well, not in shock, but in awe of like what Netflix planned to do with this whole games thing. It's obviously not been their business model for a long time, so everyone's wondering what it is. A lesser man might just talk about this story and say, hey, Netflix could go any which way with it. I am fortunately not a lesser man. I can tell you exactly what this is going to look like. And by looking at 3 key things, I think you can make an exact prediction of what this thing is going to be. Number 1, what do they hope to achieve? Number 2, who did they hire to run it? And 3, what can you compare it to, or like what are the competitors? John, of those 3 things, I would like you to choose what I start with.
Okay. Who do they hire to run it? Give me that one. Break it down for me, baby.
So yeah, as I talked about Mike Verdu, he'll be their vice president. Interesting to note that this is not just any hire. Until this story broke, he was still an employee at Oculus, so he was poached specifically for what he's done in the past and what Netflix want him to do with the platform. So you
correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. He was also at EA, correct?
Yes.
Pretty sure he was at EA.
Yes, he was head of mobile at EA. At EA, he would have worked on games with PopCap. He would have worked on some Sim stuff. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, he would have worked on that mobile game. And also in his own LinkedIn profile, this is how it's spelled, the Simpsons tapped out.
Okay.
The Simpsons. I laughed at that for 3 minutes last night, John, while prepping this story. That's all I'm going to call them from now on. They're no longer the Simpsons. They are the Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
And so, looking at what he's done since his May 2019 employment at Oculus, some of the studios he's worked with, some of the names he would have worked with is likes of Lucasfilm, Disney, Squanch Games, which are the Rick and Morty people, Justin Roiland and the like, MLB, and Universal. And what properties he would have been working with are, Star Wars with the Vader Immortal and the Galaxy's Edge stuff. He would have been working with Star Trek for Bridge Crew, Frozen for Disney. He would have been working on Marvel Powers United, which I believe is an Oculus exclusive. I think most of these are as well. The Walking Dead, Blair Witch, and Jurassic World. So that's just some of the games he would have had a hand in attracting to the Oculus platform. And I believe therein lies what type of person Netflix are looking for. They're looking for someone who can bring interactive experiences in IP that's already known. With
intellectual property.
Yeah. Intellectual property is money right now, no matter where you can get it. So, you're looking at the Netflix audience. Any of these large entertainment franchises like Jurassic Park or Walking Dead or whatever, they will tickle the fancy of Netflix subscribers. So I think you can look at this and largely imagine that what Netflix are looking for their gaming platforms are not only IP that they're licensing outside, like the Stranger Things game or Dark Crystal or whatever. They're trying to bring in more IP to the Netflix space, even if they can't get shows or whatever, even if those are tied up in different, Amazon Prime, HBO. They're trying to bring in the properties in some way to say that they have them. And I think, they're looking at this guy and they're like, this is the best guy to do it right now, because you look at, big licensed interactive stuff, and Oculus is killing it, VR is killing it in that space. They're all very excited about that. So I feel like that's the plan.
So will we get a Bridgerton dating sim? That's what I need to know.
It's not off the table. I would be surprised if it was in the launch slate for this service, but we'll see. Okay. I'll try and email Mike and see what we can get done about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Where to next, John? What about what Netflix hope to achieve, or what can we compare it to? What way would you like to go about it?
Let's go compare it. No. I want to know what you think Netflix is going to hope to achieve out of this.
All right. So you're looking at why they decide to go with the game right about things. It's been no secret that Netflix has for a long time hated Fortnite. They have a large distaste for Fortnite because in their eyes it is taking the time away from users, time they could be spending on Netflix watching. What's a popular Netflix show right now? John, help me out here.
The Witcher.
The Witcher, right? Okay, yeah, they should be watching The Witcher. They shouldn't be grinding for Fortnite skins. And so I think they look at that. They look at how well gaming has done in the past year, as opposed to the sort of stagnation of online video and subscribers. Sort of plateauing, share prices going down. But they look at gaming and that shit's succeeding. So I think there were a lot of pressure from shareholders to say, hey, this gaming thing, let's figure it out. They're making money off it.
Yeah.
Back that with the pattern of Netflix to introduce a feature to their platform or a new slew of stuff to the platform, initially for free, get people hooked on it, and then use that to justify price increases in the future. So I feel like this is definitely them laying the groundwork for that. As I said, they're past 200 million subscribers right now, but that's sort of plateauing. They're not really going to get any more, especially with the competition that's out there at the time. So they're trying to put more value into the service to try and vacuum up as much money from the subscribers they do have. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of their biggest competition, again, you look at things like Fortnite. Their biggest competition, I think a lot of people went to Xbox Game Pass for this, the current Netflix of games. I think that is drastically overselling what Netflix are capable of at this time, or what they hope to do. People in this article, in the Bloomberg article, in the Axios article, are saying that Apple Arcade is probably the best thing to compare it to right now in terms of what they're after. I'm sure that is the plan. I'm sure that is being talked about. But we've seen this story countless times, John, of big tech trying to enter the gaming space, not knowing what the hell they're doing. Based off of what I'm reading, John, I'm not entirely sure that their definition of games is the same as yours or mine.
See, and I think you're right about that one. It's very interesting to see, especially with the idea of they're going after Apple Arcade, which nothing to poo-poo on Apple Arcade, but I don't think that's what people really want when they're like, oh, gaming's coming to Netflix. Mm-hmm. Let me play Bejeweled. I don't know that's the concept that people need to be thinking about. I think that needs to be what people need to be thinking about. Not like, oh, I'm not going to play like The Witcher 3 on Netflix. That's not how that's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, I see why they want to, because it's stagnating. And when everything happens, when something stagnates, then you do something to bring more people in. Hello, Switch, OLED screen. Mm-hmm. And so it's one of those things like, what literally is their definition of games? Because I know we had Bandersnatch. I know we've had Telltale's Minecraft was on there. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe someone in the chat can help me out. Is story mode on Netflix interactive in any way, or is it purely just a TV show? I have no idea.
Just watching me.
But I believe the other interactive thing that they've had similar to Bandersnatch is the Carmen Sandiego thing. I believe that was interactive in some way.
What?
It mentioned
I don't even know this one.
No, it mentioned it on the article. They did a Carmen Sandiego reboot or something, but I believe it was that sort of same Bandersnatch thing. You could interact with the show using your controller. I don't know if Minecraft was doing that. But largely, I believe that based on all I've read, based on all I've talked about here, I'm sure, again, they're looking at Apple Arcade right now and thinking that's what they'd like to be. What this will end up being is a bunch of Bandersnatches.
Yes.
Largely, they want this to just exist in their platform. Same way you would browse it, you would see stand-up comedies, you would see documentaries, you would see a game section. And I believe that game section is going to be a mix of games-inspired shows like Castlevania, other things they're doing like the Splinter Cell show, whatever. And there will be a little icon next to some of them saying, hey, this is interactive. And I believe that's what their definition of games is. It's going to be a bunch of Bandersnatches either based off, games that are sorry, IP that are already from Netflix or games, maybe a Castlevania interactive show. But we'll see. But largely, I think that what they are trying to do is so you look at their competitors, you look at Amazon, you look at HBO, NBC, they all have sports. Netflix does not have sports. What they do have better than anyone else is geek content. And so, they doubled down on it with the Netflix Geek Week stuff, and they had the gaming day and all that. So I feel like, again, they're trying to cater to this market as much as possible. And so, in terms of content, I'm looking to, again, Oculus, VR, AR stuff. What type of stuff exists there? I'm thinking that's what we're looking at. Sort of like a Galaxy's Edge walkthrough, or like a Vader Immortal stuff. Not too much gamey stuff, but interactive storytelling that will make sense to the people, that will either be easily streamed or very, very small downloads. I don't think we're talking about a Netflix game launcher. And so, just these like interactive stories that you can put away somewhere in the Netflix calendar. I don't think that we're talking about a Xbox Game Pass competitor or even a Stadia competitor. I feel like this is going to drastically morph as they start to realize the complications involved with actually developing games and bringing games to their service.
And then how fast will Netflix cancel something when people don't jump on it? Like, I read someone, I saw someone talking about it, the idea of what happens if, what was EA's game? Oh, crap. The Tony Stark Iron Man game. Shit.
I think it was just Iron Man VR. I think I was just...
No. It was literally EA, the one that just EA and BioWare made together. It was...
BioWare.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, it was BioWare's game. It was a 4-player kind of...
Anthem.
Destiny game. Anthem, yeah. What would it like? I completely forgot about Anthem. Completely. Look, that's how much Anthem has actually made an impact in my life. But the idea of like Anthem.
You led me astray with Netflix. Iron Man.
Yeah, I get where they're literally in mechs.
Yeah.
They're in mechs. Okay, they're in mechs. Yeah. That's how I registered it. They went to mechs. But Netflix is notorious for actually canceling after 2 seasons. So what happens when a game doesn't pull in the people they want? How fast is that development company going to disappear?
And the other thing as well, a Netflix show has never had a buggy launch. They're going to have to... There are so many complications. It's like, I compare it to drawing 2D art versus 3D modeling. There's a whole extra dimension you have to worry about. And sure, having, the basics down with the 2D drawing on a sketch pad is good to have for 3D modeling skills, but there's such a big leap there. So, I feel like, again, they want Game Pass, they want Apple Arcade, because that's where the money is right now. They want Fortnite, but they know better than to try and dump all their resources into doing that, and so they're going to give up on this very quickly. And it'll just be a bunch of game shows and games show interactive things. Bandersnatches. Let's just call them Bandersnatches.
No, Bandersnatches.
Bandersnatches. Real quick before we leave, John, am I just... I went in a rant about that. Am I cynical, or do you expect more from this?
No, okay. God, no. No, I think you're right on the dot on that one. There's no way in hell this is going to be more than just the interact. There's again, let's pivot and say there's nothing wrong with the interactive stuff, especially like whenever we're sitting back down on couches with people. Oh, choose this. No, choose this. That'll be a lot of fun. But I mean, we also got to factor in like there's no way that unless Netflix comes out with a controller, there's no way you can actually play video games on this in the sense of what we consider video games. Like unless they figure out something to do with like if you're playing it in Netflix on your PlayStation or on your Xbox, then maybe you can do that. But I think that tech is not available. It might be, I don't know, but I think that's a lot of like maneuverability that they would have to get through legally to let people play on their launcher or whatever they call it and use the said controller. I think it's too much to think of a controller when everyone has a remote control for their TV. Because you have to factor in everyone who uses smart TVs and stuff like that.
I think it's fun to play with the idea that Netflix could potentially go and make like a separate service within their service for games. But
which will get banned on iOS.
But the major strength of Netflix, I believe, is in its simplicity. You know that Netflix will work on every device you have. You know that no matter what you're scrolling, it will like work instantly and play instantly, and you know what you're getting. But I don't think that they would be prepared. They would be in a spot to make it confusing or require any amount of explanation. They don't want their 200 million users, maybe ones who don't play games, that are going through and it's like, oh, this show looks cool. Wait, it's not a show? Wait, I have to download it? Wait, what is happening? It doesn't run on my iPad. You know, it's weird. So I feel like they're going to give up on this very quickly. But we'll see.
Yeah.